So what if an ancient spiritual text wasn't about faith at all, but was actually a user manual for your own mind? Today, we are diving into Swami Vivekananda's classic, Raja Yoga, and we're going to explore it as a practical, scientific guide for understanding and, believe it or not, mastering our own consciousness.
Right out of the gate, Vivekananda hits us with this massive idea. He's not just talking about, a little self-improvement. He's saying there is a spark of the divine in every single one of us. And the key to unlocking it? Controlling nature. Not just the world out there, but that chaotic, wild world inside our own heads.
And come on, let's be real. Who hasn't felt that way? That feeling like you're just a passenger in your own life, being yanked around by worries, distractions, what have you. Well, Vivekananda's radical claim is that this isn't how it has to be. He says it's a problem that actually has a scientific solution.
So what is this solution? Well, this is where Raja Yoga really challenges us. Vivekananda argues that any true search for meaning, what we call religion, can't just be based on believing what you're told. It has to be a science, and it has to be grounded in your own direct experience.
And this is the man who brought these ideas to the West. Swami Vivekananda made a huge splash at the 1893 World's Parliament of Religions. His message was frankly revolutionary. He said, if there's a God, you should be able to see him. If you have a soul, you must be able to feel it. Anything less than that, it's just secondhand information. He basically challenged the world to stop just believing and start experiencing.
And this slide really nails his whole approach. On one side, you've got blind faith, just taking someone's word for it. But on the other, you have direct, personal verification. Vivekananda's whole point was that our inner world, our thoughts, our feelings, our consciousness, can be studied with the same kind of focus and precision a scientist uses in a lab. And he did not mess around on this point. This quote, wow, it really shows you how much he valued intellectual honesty. He's saying that pretending to believe something you haven't actually experienced for yourself is hypocrisy. So, in his view, an honest atheist is actually more scientific and closer to the truth than someone who's just going through the motions without any real inner conviction.
And this is the tool for that scientific exploration, Raja Yoga. It's not presented as a belief system at all. It's a method. It's a set of practical, repeatable steps designed to give you the tools to look at your own mind, figure out how it works, and ultimately prove the truth to yourself.
Now, to get how the method works, we gotta first understand the yogi's model of the universe. And what's amazing is how simple it is. It all boils down to just two fundamental things that make up everything, from the stars in the sky to the thoughts in your head.
And here they are, Akasha and Prana. So think of Akasha as the raw material of the universe, the potential stuff of everything, and Prana, that's the infinite cosmic energy that acts on that stuff, shaping it into every single thing that exists. It's the ultimate life force. At its core, it's this incredibly elegant, unified model of matter and energy.
Okay, and this leads to a really mind-bending conclusion. The yogis say that the physical world we see all around us is just the effect. The real cause is in the subtle, internal world of energy, of prana. So what does that mean? It means if you want to gain control over your external world, you have to first learn to master the internal forces that create it.
And that brings us right to the heart of the whole practice, prana. If this is the fundamental energy that makes everything tick, then well, learning to control it is the key to everything. It's the secret to mastering your own nature and unlocking what Vivekananda calls our divine potential. So how on earth do you control an infinite invisible energy? Vivekananda gives us this amazing analogy. Think of a huge, complex engine. The flywheel is that one big, easy-to-access wheel that, when you turn it, gets all the other complex parts moving. He says the breath is the flywheel of our body. It's the most obvious, most controllable part of our entire internal machine.
He uses a story to explain the strategy. There's a minister trapped in a tower, and a beetle carries up a single fine silken thread. With that thread, he pulls up a slightly stronger cord, then a twine, and finally a thick rope to escape. For the yogi, the breath is that first silken thread. Once you get a handle on it, you can start to influence the more subtle nerve currents, then your thoughts, until finally you've got a hold of the rope, prana itself.
And this isn't just some abstract idea. For thousands of years, yogis have been creating these incredibly detailed, symbolic maps of these internal energy currents. They looked at the inner world with the same scientific curiosity that we use to look at the outer world, charting these complex pathways of prana through the human body.
So how does this all fit together in practice? I mean, it's not like you can just wish for self-control. Raja Yoga lays out a very clear, very structured path, a systematic, step-by-step process for actually achieving self-mastery.
These are the famous 8 limbs or steps of the path. You see how it starts with a moral foundation, how we deal with the world around us? Then it moves to the physical, posture and controlling prana with the breath. And from there, the whole journey turns inward, withdrawing the senses and leading into these deep states of concentration, meditation, and something called superconsciousness. It's a whole system for transformation.
Now, it's so important to see where this path begins. Before you get to any of the cool breathing exercises or meditation, Raja Yoga demands this solid ethical foundation. Vivekananda is crystal clear on this. If you don't practice things like truthfulness and non-injury, the advanced stuff, it just won't work. You have to calm and purify the mind first. Okay, so after climbing all these steps, you build the foundation, you master your posture, you control your breath, you focus your mind. Where does all this actually lead? Well, the goal is pretty simple and it's pretty huge. Absolute freedom.
And you just have to appreciate the scale of this ambition. This isn't just about, lowering your stress levels. The ultimate goal of the yogi is to become a true master of nature, to get to a point where the so-called laws of nature don't have absolute power over you anymore. And how do you achieve this incredible mastery? It all comes down to one thing, one single tool. The chemist in her lab, the astronomer looking through a telescope, and the yogi exploring his inner world, they are all using the exact same method, the power of concentration. It's about focusing all the scattered rays of the mind into one powerful beam.
And this is the ultimate reward. The promise is that through this intense, scientific self-analysis, you find a part of yourself that is eternal, that is perfect. And once you experience that, Vivekananda says, fear just disappears. Unhappiness becomes impossible. You find perfect bliss, not in some afterlife, but right here, right now.
So in the end, the message of Raja Yoga isn't about gaining some new, mystical power from outside yourself. It's that this incredible potential, this inner freedom, it's already your birthright. The entire science is really just a set of keys. The question that Vivekananda leaves us with is this: how will you unlock the door to the power you already have?